So the reason why I went through all of these examples is that we are going to have a lot to say about the exact story that Paxolin told me about the food, whether this was a real story in his case or whether it's some story that he was telling himself to make him, to explain the situation he was in, but really there was something else behind these problems, like his depression or something like that. But the first time it was formalized was in this context of nutrition. And it's very natural to think of it in the context of nutrition, but it could apply. And a very important part of the discussion that I want you to keep in mind is that it's not enough for there to be a relationship between income today and income tomorrow. To create a poverty trap, it needs to have this funny shape. And now I want to discuss why. So the way we are going to think of it is we are going to think about what is the dynamic of someone's income over time. So let's start with this picture, which brings inherited income on the x-axis. So think of it as income today, and income from work. What I have plotted here is this S-shaped curve. Think of it, for example, as coming from nutrition, but any of the examples that you talked about if you don't like the nutrition one. And the line that goes through the diagonal is the 45-degree line. So why is the 45-degree line relevant and interesting here is that on the 45-degree line, income today is the same as income tomorrow, right? So we are going to make use of it. Now I want to try and look at the dynamic of someone's incomes over time. So suppose someone got this little income y prime 0. Where do I read their income in period 1? Yeah.
Just be going from the curvy line to the 45-degree line, like horizontally?
Exactly. So to go from income y0 to y1, I go on the vertical line up to the curve. That tells me this is what someone who starts his life with some income yi0 can make his decision about how much to eat, create some calories, create some work capacity, goes to work, generate an income that he takes home. That's the income that we have on the curvy line. And then I want to say, well, that becomes y1, right? And then y1 is going to become the y0 of tomorrow. So to find it, I'm doing exactly what you are saying, which is I'm going horizontally to the 45-degree line, because now, and I could go down again. So from y0, I go to y1. Then horizontally on the 45-degree line gives me y1 again. And then how do I find y2? I go vertical again. That gives me y2. Again, I go horizontal again to the 45-degree line. And I continue like that. And where will I end up? I will end up at the intersection of the 45-degree line and the S-shaped curve, right? At the first intersection. Now, what if I start with a higher income? If I start with the income y0 double prime, I go vertical to the curve. That gives me y1 double prime. I have to go horizontally to find it when it becomes income tomorrow, again vertically, etc. And I again end up at the intersection of the 45-degree line and the S-shaped curve. But now it's a higher intersection. Now what happens if I start at the thick point in the middle over there? Which way will that go? That will go down. If I go at the thick point, I go vertical, then left, then down. So after which point do I go? What is the key point after which I will start going to the high point? Yeah.
What's the intersection 45-degree line again?
So the intersection from below. So at this point P, where the 45-degree line, where the capacity curve intersects the 45-degree line from below, anything to the right, go to the high steady state. Anything to the left, go to the low steady state. So this is, if you want, what this possibility that there are two steady states, depending on where you start from, is what the formalization of a poverty trap, which is anybody who is poorer than the unstable equilibrium over there, the intersection between the S shape, the place where the S shape, if someone starts with exactly this income, where do they go? If someone starts with exactly the intersection of the 45-degree line and the S-shaped curve, do they go down or do they go up? They just stay there. So it is also a steady state, but it's a very unstable one. If anything happens, any small perturbation, they go slightly to the left, they go all the way down. If they go slightly to the right, they go all the way up. So we call that an unstable steady state. So there is one unstable steady state and two stable ones. And those two stable ones is what we're talking about, that there could be a poverty trap.